Welcome to the Dr. Vibe Show. And it is Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show. As always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. The special friend we have on the Dr. Vibe Show today is Steve Quiguez. He's the co-founder and director of the Coach Training Academy. The Coach Training Academy is a professional international Coach Federation accredited coach training school. He is an experienced master coach with over 5,000 coaching hours and over 10,000 hours mentoring people that want to become exceptional coaches, or as Steve puts it, artistic agents of change. To the coaching world, he brings his own past struggles of growing up in a very dysfunctional home, depressed, suicidal, and at one point topping the scales at over 410 pounds. Folks, you don't look like that now. I know pics. I've seen pictures of him. He brings a full background in neuroscience, including crisis counseling, emotional intelligence, time life specialist, master of communication, and a trainer of neuralistic programming. So, folks, we've got the man. We got the man to talk today about what is the value of coaching certification. We are blessed and highly favored to have Steve Quiguez on our show. Welcome, Steve. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much. I am fantastic, and I am really excited and appreciate the opportunity to be on your show, to be with someone with your experience also of doing so much on the airwaves. So this is exciting for me.
Excellent. Well, this is great. I'm going to jump a little bit in regards to, let me state a message here. So let's have our first conversation piece. Do people have to be certified to coach other people? Because I brought up the example there recently. Someone said, I'm a coach. I'm a certified coach. When I asked them any certification, they said no.
Okay. Well, to answer that, the key words is, do they have to be? As if, and maybe I can address that first around laws and things like that. The term coach is not a proprietary term, as this therapist or doctor or or engineer, etc. So anyone can call themselves a coach, and no institution, government agency, etc. is going to come after them and say, how dare you, or where's your license, etc. It's not a protected term. So you don't have to. There are a couple slight, maybe exceptions to that, where in some municipalities and cities where you need to have a business license, and that would be the same as if you help fix bicycles or you had a tree trimming business, etc. You need a business license. In the state of Colorado, there's one exception. If you want to call yourself a coach, the state of Colorado wants you to pay them something like $150 a year as a little extra tax to call yourself a coach. And another one that's really interesting is in the state of Louisiana, if you're a licensed psychotherapist and you want to add coach to your title, you have to pay them a fee every year to be able to do that. I don't know the history of that, of how that came about. It sounds, personally like a little bit of a nice tax grab there, but I don't know the background. But anywhere else in the world that I'm aware of at this moment, there's no requirement around even the word coaching, or certification. They have someone that would say that you have particular skills or credentials to be able to do it.
Thank you for that answer. I look at that, Steve, as a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is, yes, anyone can get into it. The bad thing is, in some ways, it's brought down the profession because there's no process, like a sort of like a process, like getting certified to be an engineer. There's a process to go through.
Yes.
But for coaching, I look at it as a good and a bad thing. Obviously, it's better to go through the process, but you don't have to go through the process.
Yes. Yeah, there is no block to access the profession of coaching. Anyone listening to this today could say, I'm a coach, put a sign on their front door, coaching services, and off they go. There's no block to that.
Do you see, looking in your crystal ball, do you see that environment change that you see maybe down the road, that certain municipalities, maybe countries, states, provinces may start putting up, like, you have to be certified? Like, do you see that ever coming down the road in the near future?
I do. I think it's going to take a little while. And it has positive and negative effects. Sometimes when we get agencies and governments involved, we can go over the top a little farther. I would like to see something come in that would give people a level playing field so they know when they hire a coach, this person at least has had some experience or introduction into basic coaching, professional coaching training. But I think it's on the way. The whole area of coaching in the last 10, 15 years has really elevated. I mean, 10, 15, 20 years ago, these companies like Google, NASA, large corporations didn't have coaches, and now they do. So why? Because the value of coaching has really been promoted. People that are successful in life, and this is interesting to think about, that people that are successful hire coaches. It's not just people, that are struggling, that aren't getting ahead in life, not reaching their goals. It's people that are successful that want to become more successful. There's some people may be familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of achievement that shows as people, we have this natural drive to improve ourselves. We're questioning kind of people. We want to evolve. We want to be better. We want to create more freedom and things in our lives. And coaching is one of the things that can help us do that. And that's why you see coaching being brought in, especially into successful environments. Nowadays, it's actually almost an in thing. I could talk to one of my clients, a CEO in a corporations, and it's when he talks to other people. No, I can't do the meeting then because I have my session with my coach. It's like a kind of a something showing people that I'm a proactive person, that I'm trying to improve my lot, that there's always room for improvement. So I see the profession just gaining.
Excellent. Yes, it's growing leaps and bounds. And I love the point you made there that people who are successful hire coaches. A lot of people think that people who aren't successful are the ones that hire coaches.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Some of this is a little bit understanding the difference between a coach and other modalities of what people do. Sometimes for us to improve our lot and change careers or get better, we may need just training. We need more facts, understanding of how we improve particular skills. So that's sometimes we need. Sometimes the issues that we're dealing with can be traumatic issues that we had as children and when we're growing up, things that we can't come to terms. They keep on coming back in our lives, no matter. Sometimes we take a few steps forward and we find ourselves falling back. And then sometimes we need, the therapist. We need the introduction of someone that can help us go back, explore these things, learn sometimes the positive aspects from them, which can be very difficult, but just really understand and reframe them so we are ready to move forward. And then other times we're just, we're doing okay. We could we have a job, we have our family, we're doing okay, we're kind of going, but there's something missing, or there's that desire that, gee, if I could just change careers and do this, or go back to school, or, my health isn't so good. If I could just start getting back to the gym, take a few pounds off, these kind of nagging things, but our lives kind of work. And that's really the jurisdiction of the coach, of the people. Well, we're functioning, we're doing what human beings do, but there's something missing from our life. And that's what coaches, that's our domain as coaches.
Excellent. Well, I know your time is thin, so I'll just ask one more conversation piece, and you had mentioned it earlier. You'll come back to it. Can anyone get any certification, or are there differences?
Good question. Really good question. And this is one of the things that you can actually ask when you're looking at different coach training schools. So there's some schools, I'll call it Joe's Coach Training School. And you go through Joe's Coach Training School, and they send you a certificate that says you're certified by Joe's Coach Training School. So they do their own certification. I'm not going to say Joe's Coach Training School isn't a good coach training school. You may have learned some great things. They may be very good coach training school. But the problem with this is, how do you really evaluate whether that is a good coach training school? could be, and I've actually taken training from non-accredited schools that I've gotten my Joe's Coach Training School diplomas from. However, the next level is when you can go to a coach training school that has been accredited by coaching organizations. So in the world, there's probably 5 or 6 kind of basic coaching organizations that support coaches. So a couple of them, one's called the Certified Coaches Alliance, the CCA. Another one that the largest is called the ICF, or the International Coach Federation. Now, what these organizations do, they wear different hats, but the first thing they do is, if you're a coach training school, is if you want to be under their umbrella, you want to be recognized as a superior school, you submit your curriculum to them, pay them some fees, jump through a bunch of hoops. They go through the curriculum and they will decide, does it meet the standard, the behavioral science standard of a good coach program? And if it does, then what happens is when your students graduate, they are awarded certifications not from your school, Joe's Coach School, or the Coach Training Academy. So for instance, our school, the Coach Training Academy, we do not issue our own certifications. Our certification is issued through the Certified Coach Alliance, and so you get that from them. They have their own charter. They have their own certification, their own, et cetera, their own process as an independent organization. They're recognized. If students with that certification want to go and get, let's say, a liability insurance or errors and omission insurance, they can, because they have a recognized certification. The other institution that is very highly recognized and actually in the world is called the International Coach Federation. And we are also accredited by the International Coach Federation. So after our students graduate, they can go and get the certification from the ICF. And in the world now, that is probably the highest standard of certification that students want. Students, especially ones that are going to go into corporate arenas, government, etc., actually require more often than not to have ICF certification. So this is 2 things that can really help: is where is your certification coming from, and is it from an independent institution as opposed to just from the school? And for students that go down those roads, what you have, if you do that, you can have peace of mind knowing that an independent body that is knowledgeable in that field has accredited that training. And I think that's something that can be very important for coaches to look at when they're looking at different coach training schools.
Well, Steve, on that note, we're going to let you get back to your thousands and thousands of hours of coaching and things.
Not today.
Not today? Good. Well, that's great to hear. First of all, we'd like to thank you for sharing with the audience. Really great stuff, as always. You're just willing to share and give, and you want to set coaches or potential coaches, whether it's with the Coach Training Academy or other coaching, you want to set them up for success, and that's appreciated.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that I know we're at the end, but that movie that came out years ago about Pay It Forward. Coaching is the ultimate career if you want to be involved in not only changing the person that you're in front of, but even their family and generations in front of them. It is an amazing career where we get to change generations of people.
And also, too, a good coach, probably it changes their lives, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll talk about that in another
Absolutely.
time.
Absolutely. We're just dropping a little hint there for future conversations. Well, Steve, if people want to find out more about the Coach Training Academy, what should they do?
A couple things. First of all, you can go to our website. We have a lot of good information there. You can meet some of our graduates there too, but it's thecoachtrainingacademy.com, and it's just spelled the way it is, but make sure you put thecoachtrainingacademy.com. And we have a contact form. If you have questions, etc., you can fill out some information there. And you can give us a call, and that is area code 360-312-7372. That's 360-312-7372. 7372. And if you just leave a message with your name, date, and time, someone will get back to you as soon as possible.
That's fantastic. Steve, thanks so much for sharing. So as always, it's Dr. Vibe here. I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And as always, remember, sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Thanks for listening.